My name is Karl Granrath, the hearing examiner this evening. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to allow me to receive evidence and testimony for the matters that will come before us tonight. I make a recommendation following this meeting, and I make that recommendation only to the county commissioners. I do not make the final decision. So I will be submitting my recommendation to the staff within 2 weeks of tonight's hearings, and then the application will be scheduled for deliberations in front of the county commissioners. If there are any, I don't see that there's anyone here in person. If anyone ends up joining on Zoom, please do keep yourself muted, or Dave here will make sure you stay muted. And when there's the time of the meeting comes up and I ask for public testimony, we'll see if anyone's on there. So until that time, please remain muted. So our schedule for tonight is we'll have staff introduce each application, and then we'll hear from the applicant, who will have up to 30 minutes for their initial presentation. And then after that, if there's any members of the public who wish to testify, they will each have 5 minutes. And if there's any public comment, then after that, the applicant has another 15 minutes in which they can rebut or add any other information or answer any questions that the public may have had. So, with that, I think I will kick it over to Vlad to get us started on zoning action zone 20-0009. So take it away, Vlad.
Good evening. For the record, Vlad Finkel with Kootenai County Community Development. As you have just stated, this is a request, case number ZON20-0009, to rezone a piece of property from agriculture to light industrial zone. The subject parcel of land is located on the west side of Kootenai County, more specifically on the southwest corner of Bedrock Road and Beck Road, directly south of the State Line Speedway. The parcel in question, as you can see on the zoning map before you, is surrounded by a variety of different zoning classifications. You have light industrial zone to the north, where the State Line Speedway is. You have commercial with a conditional zoning development agreement to the south, where the Hagedon boat storage facility is located. You have light industrial zone to the west and east of this property, as well as mining with a zoning development agreement directly to the northeast. So there is a number of high-intensity zoning classifications in the area. In fact, over the course of last decade, I have processed at least, I can count 4 rezones immediately adjacent to the subject property to a more intense classification from ag to what you currently see on the screen. The comprehensive plan designation for this property is transitional. The subject property is also located within the shared tier of the cities of Hayden, Rathdrum, and Post Falls area of city impact. What that requires is when you have a property within the shared tier of these 3 cities, the county is obligated to solicit comments from the 3 cities and give them at least 30 days to comment. There's no other obligations that are necessary in the shared tier as you would see in the exclusive tier. The subject parcel of land is fairly flat. As you can see, there's very limited vegetation. It's like a pasture land, and there's currently no development on this property. It's vacant. Through the agency comment period, we solicited comments from the agencies that you see on the screen, more specifically the cities that are part of the ACI agreement. Only one of them had responded back with no concerns, which was City of Rathdrum. The remaining 2 cities did not respond at all. The other agencies with jurisdiction didn't really have any specific concerns or comments at this time. However, they will be providing those comments at a later date once the current owner or the future owner decides to develop the site, should this application be approved. During the public comment period, we received 2 comments in support of this request, and based on lack of public involvement or concerns from the agencies with jurisdiction, staff staff believes that the proposed zone change is consistent with the recent zone changes in the area. A future use would comply with the performance standards applicable to the light industrial zone, and therefore a light industrial use would be compatible with the other uses in the area. I stand for any questions that you have at this time.
I have no questions for you. Thank you very much. And with that, we'll get Mr. Spencer here, unmuted. Welcome, sir, and you can go ahead and take it away with any comments or presentation you would like to have for this proposal.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to make it short and simple. I think Vlad pretty much covered the entire application process. We purchased the property from the Beck family, from the actual Don Beck and his sisters. Anyway, they're getting up there in age and they were interested in getting rid of the property. Property hasn't been cultivated or used for ag in years. It'd be virtually impossible to grow anything on it besides weeds at this point in time. Anyway, we are looking at possibly relocating a business that we own, construction services company, over to the Post Falls area. I'm from Idaho originally, and this was an opportunity to look at this parcel. Anyway, there's being its proximity to State Line Speedway, light industrial seems the best option for this. Any activities that would take place on that property wouldn't be impacted by State Line Speedway's nighttime and weekend operations as far as things go. Anyway, simply put, it's pretty consistent with what we've seen going on in that general area, and that's why we're applying for this zoning change.
Okay, if you have no further comments, I do see one person connected to Zoom and just says iPad. I'm not sure if that's perhaps the applicant for the second application or if that's a member of the public who wishes to comment on this application.
Now would be the time if they...
So whoever is the iPad user, if you are a member of the public who wishes to comment on this application, now is your opportunity to...
Unmute, yeah.
No, we're with the second application.
Oh, okay, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much. All right, you can mute yourself again, and we'll be with you shortly. As I have no further questions for the applicant, and with that, I'll move to the second application. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 1 second. We'll let Vlad get set up. And
While we're waiting, just as a matter of clarity, you've actually closed the public hearing on the first
I have,
item.
that is correct. I have closed the public hearing on zoning 20-0009. Which will bring us to the opening of the public hearing for variance 20-0010. And with that, go ahead, Vlad.
Once again, for the record, Vlad Finkel with Kootenai County Community Development. As you just stated, this is a request by Kim and Dale Ram for a variance to the side yard setback. The subject parcel of land is located on the northeast side of Hayden Lake. In fact, the property is waterfront with an existing cabin on site. The zoning classification for this property is restricted residential and requires a minimum of a 10-foot side yard setback. This is an existing and proposed site plan. There's an existing cabin that has been remodeled over the course of many years, but it was originally constructed according to our records back in the 60s, prior to any rules and regulations being established or adopted by Kootenai County. The existing structure is currently within 3 feet of the northern property therefore, because it was constructed prior to any rules and regulations requiring specific setbacks in the restricted residential zone, it currently has a status of a non-conforming use. Basically, it means that it is legitimately placed on site because of, or it's legitimately there because of when it was constructed. The intent of the applicant today is to expand the existing habitable space. They would like to make the improvements within the area that is currently encroaching on the north side of the property, 7 feet into the 10-foot side yard setback. And what they would like to do is they would like to expand the main floor space where the existing deck is located, as well as build a second story bedroom up above the existing living space on the main floor. These are the existing photos of the property, and as you can see, the lower roof line is where the expansion is requested, and behind that there's a deck you can see on the lower left side. The deck is located in this area, if you can see my mouse. And they would like to make that habitable space as well as build, as I just stated, build above this roof line. So technically, there would be no physical expansion of the existing footprint. However, because the existing residence currently encroaches into the side yard setback, being that it's non-conforming, because they're looking to expand upward or vertically, it's considered to be an extension of a non-conforming, which under our rules and regulations would require a variance request. As you can see, on the left-hand side, you have the existing floor plan, and on the right-hand side, you can see where the expansion will occur. I also have a schematic of the cross-section where the applicant wants to build vertically above the main floor. During the agency comment period, we solicit comments from the agencies that are listed on the screen, and we received no opposition from any of the agencies. The only comment that we received that was a bit different than we typically do is from our building division, where they would require fire-resistant construction, being that the structure is only within 3 feet of the northern property line. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward in terms of responses. So during the public comment period, we only received one comment in support, with very little involvement from the public and no concerns from the agencies. Staff believes that the request does not propose to encroach further into the setback area, and therefore we don't see there being an issue with the request. Moreover, due to the steepness of the site, limited area for development, we believe that the variance as requested is the minimum variance needed, and that it meets our criteria for recommending approval of the project, as well as the undue hardships such as steep slopes and other conditions that you saw on the photos. One last thing I'd like to mention is the applicant also argues that the existing floor plan and the proposed improvements will be done in the most efficient manner because of the existing layout of the cabin. I don't think I have anything else to add at this point, but I stand for any questions that you have at this time.
Yeah, just a quick question for clarification. If you could go back to the slide you were just at that showed the proposed addition. One more. That one. So I see there is the proposed living room. Looks like they're actually going to extend what is that current side deck. Looks like another 9 feet in length out or west.
Towards you mean towards the lake?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically they are expanding a small portion of the habitable space where the deck is currently located, but that will not be the encroachment or the increase in the footprint will not further encroach into the side yard setback than it already does. So yes, I must make a correction. There is going to be a slight extension of the footprint towards the lake where the existing deck is.
Okay, and then I see the same, and perhaps the applicant will be able to clarify this for me in a second. And then I see that the additional deck is gonna stay the same size. And perhaps I'll save my next question for the applicant, but just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much. That's the only question I had for Vlad. So with that, I will open it up to the applicant to, you have up to 30 minutes to make any comments or presentation you would like. So the floor is yours. I believe we have Kim Ram connected.
Yes,
All right, take it away.
yeah. This is Kim. Actually, Mr. Finkel did a very good job of what we have going on. He presented it very well. We really don't have anything to add to his presentation. I mean, we're just kind of, when we came up with this, we thought it was the best plan for the property and what we're working with. And we're hoping that, the commissioners see the same thing. And thank you.
All right. Yeah, I guess the only other question would be do you plan to put another deck that would extend even further towards the lake in that area, or just that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be just windows off of the front of that build.
Okay.
The deck, as you can see that we have, will still be the same deck. That's the only deck we're gonna use.
Okay. Great. That's the only question I had for you. And we'll double check. I don't think there's any
There's no one else on Zoom.
anyone else connected to Zoom.
Right.
So with that, I will end the public meeting for variance 20-0010. And that will conclude tonight's meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all very much. Thanks, Vlad, for your hard work.